Hi all who all have joined. I welcome you all. Let's wait couple of more minutes so others can join and we will start it. Meanwhile, you can post in the chat that from where you are joining us from. Great, Peru, India. Hi Alex,
Hi, hi.
can you check your DM? So 21 people have joined so far. Sagar Panara from Dubai. So let's wait for 2 more minutes and we will start Suman.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Can you go back to the presentation?
Yeah, Manav. Let me know once we have a good number of audience, we can start.
Okay. I guess we are 28 people now. So let's get started. Hello, all. You must be knowing me. So I welcome you all, first of all, to our user group's extensibility series event, Modernizing Adobe Commerce. So in this event, we will be deep diving into Adobe App Builder's event-driven architecture. So today's presenter is Suman Kar with us. So again, I welcome you all. Can you go to next slide, Suman, please?
Yeah, sure.
So this meeting is being recorded and we will be uploading the recording in our YouTube channel. So you will be definitely able to share with your colleagues, and you can later revisit this video. Okay. Uh, so I'd like Shuman to introduce himself first.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Suman. I currently working as a technical architect in Adobe Commerce, and my expertise is basically designing scalable solution and large integrations. So I have worked with large number of technologies, and also majority of my time I focused on the Adobe Commerce API integration, and recently started working with AI email based some solutions basically. And yeah, I'm very excited to part of this group. Happy to share. Uh, you can tweet me in the LinkedIn, and you also started one YouTube channel recently. You can also see visit there and see. I'm uploading basically app builder and Adobe Commerce related defined topics. Yeah, again happy to part of this group. Feel free to connect.
Thank you, Shuman.
Yeah, Manav, back to you. Yeah,
So most of you must be knowing me that I am handling this APAC user group community. Apart from that, I am a certified content and commerce expert and Adobe Commerce subject matter expert. So I have having experience in AEM and Adobe Commerce both, and I have worked with the multiple enterprise e-commerce brand throughout the journey. And I personally I love to connect with peoples and build communities. So thank you all for joining today. So there are some housekeeping rules I need to say that here we are together to exchange our knowledge and not to pitch any product or not to present something for sales, right? So sales pitch are completely prohibited, and you should not contact the user without their consent outside of this our community, right? And that's it, I guess. So like let's post in the chat that what is our primary role, right, when working with Adobe Commerce, whether we are architect, developers, or like e-commerce manager, business analyst, agency owner. Chat, so we will get the better idea throughout the presentation, right?
yeah, Manav. Go ahead and next slide.
Okay. So we are having the rewards for people who can review the product, right? If you are working with the Adobe Commerce and you want to review the product, you can scan this QR code and you can add the detailed review that how you are working with the product and what you do with the product, right? So and against that you may get a chance to win $25 gift card. So just scan the QR code and uh, review the product so other people, other agency owner and customer may go to see your reviews to when they are onboarding their e-commerce journey. Yes, Suman.
Yeah. So I
So
just moved to the next slide. Yeah, go ahead.
okay, so I'll paste the user group link, right? And most of you must be the user of this group. Just scan the QR code or just join our user group as a member. So you will be receiving emails for our every activity, right? And you will be staying updated with our future events and what we are doing, right? Scan the QR code or visit the link and join our user group as a member, Suman. So we are also having Slack channel and LinkedIn group, right? We have Slack channel where around 80 plus members are already joined. So please join that Slack channel. We are having a dedicated group for APEC discussions. So post this event, we will be continuing our discussion there only, right? It could be technical, it could be something related to business, right? And you can interact with the other learners and get your doubt resolved. So we do have LinkedIn group also where we are building the community, right? So currently there are 150 members are already joined, and you should also join that group. Apart from that, for our user group, we do have opportunity for speakers and partners. So for this particular event, uh, Matchcomp company have joined us as a promotional partner, and they helped us with the promotion. So round of applause for Matchcomp, and thank you. If someone is there from Matchcomp, I'd like to thank you them for helping us with the promotional partnership for this particular event. So if you are agency owner, or you are a decision maker in your organization, please scan the partnership QR code, and let's partner and build this community together. If you are willing to share your knowledge with the broader audience, please scan the speaker proposal form. All the URLs are already there in our Slack channel, so you can join the Slack channel and get URL, and you can reach out to me also directly for discussing in detail. So Adobe has recently updated the renewal process of certification. So if you haven't started your certification journey, or if you are planning the certification, just access their on demand courses and get certified like soon. And now the renew process has been more smoother, so you can renew your certificates easily. So just utilize this functionality and advance your career. So now I'd like to ask Suman to start with his presentation.
Okay. Um, Thank you, Manab. Okay, we are all set. So, uh, thanks again. So today we are basically going to discuss about the uh, Adobe Commerce integration with the app builder, and how we can modernize the Adobe Commerce ecosystem with the help of app builder events and webhooks. So we'll go in detail. So I have almost 50 slides to present. So some of the slides I may skip based on the time constraint. But if you have any open queries, or if you want any discussion, you can drop your query in the question answer section. So we are going to monitor that, and after that, basically, like, if any of the questions are not answered, like, as it is a 1 hour event, so we'll extract all these questions and answer, and we'll answer all the open questions and share in the Slack channel, and also in the LinkedIn post. So yeah, so all the open questions definitely would be answered if it is not answered today. Okay, so yeah, so happy Friday. So thing, let's understand, like, our audience. So I understand that most of the people are coming from the Adobe Commerce background. So how many of you has like already used the app builder uh, with events and webhooks? So in your in the chat window, you can post your answer. Basically, you have, like, you are expert, or you have never used, you just exploring. So there are A to G separate options are there. You can post it. Yeah.
Now people are moving to the B and C more. Like in our initial event, like 90% people were like in the A only. They never used App Builder or before. So we are seeing progress in our user group, that people are progressing.
Okay,
That's
I
great.
see. Yeah, I see some answers also. Like, I we have expert team and we are comfortable. So that's great. So yeah, let's move ahead. So our first session was done by Alex, and he already covered the basic of app builder. But I understand there are audience who are joining for the first time. So we'll have a quick recap of what is app builder, how we can use the app builder, and what is the basic advantage we'll get out of app builder. And then we move to the topic 4 and 5, and demo and a question answer session. Okay, so uh, let's understand the our problem statement, like, why, like, we are all Magento people, like PHP people, why we are talking about app builder, which is written in a different technology. It's a Node.js specific, Node.js programming language. So why actually we need the app builder? So if we consider the how the web applications are evolving, so over the last 10 years, if we consider, like, the customer expectation has been increased significantly, and websites are now expected to load within milliseconds. And if you see that in the popular websites or web application, it became, the technology wise, it became more complex, and the number of traffic has been eventually grown significantly. So to counter that, like Adobe and Adobe Commerce has done several steps. So one is Adobe Commerce moved to the Adobe Commerce Cloud. Then they decoupled many components like catalog service, live search, product recommendation, payment service. So these was decoupled from the Adobe Commerce Core, and these are all SaaS services. Okay, so few years back, Adobe also released another approach called experience driven commerce, which is basically like you build your headless front end, and through your REST API or GraphQL, basically you call uh, with the Adobe Commerce, and you build your e-commerce application. So in that way, detaching the front end and back end, and deviating the splitting the load between the front end and back end. Okay, so having said that, Adobe Commerce is a right now is a monolithic application, and it's not Adobe Commerce fault, but any monolithic application which is large number of orders, customers is coming, having a complex ecosystem, having multiple jobs running in the behind the scene. So one server, or if you consider the three nodes, the PHP nodes, so those, even though if we uh, improve the infrastructure, it's not sufficient to handle that kind of load. Like when we have thousands orders are coming, or 5,000 order coming in a short span of time. So what should be the possible solution? Okay, so Adobe Commerce was thinking for this like possible solution for a long time, and they came up with a multiple tools like app builder, events, webhooks, admin UI SDK, and API mesh. So these all tools has been introduced, and they like we call in Adobe Commerce, these are out of process development. Okay, so the basic principle of the out of process development is that we are moving uh, process or complex work outside the Adobe Commerce. Okay, and how we are doing that? We are doing through the app builder. Now, if I say app builder with events, which is for asynchronous operations. So you have backend jobs like order sync or inventory sync, or you have a price update which are running through the cron job, or it's a totally asynchronous. So that can be done through the combination of the app builder and the events. And if you have synchronous work, like before product is added to cart, you want a real-time validation, or like in the checkout page, you want to calculate the shipping rates. So those are synchronous work, like a real-time output is required. So in that case, you can use the of app builder with the webhooks. Similarly, like if you want to develop the admin front end, admin interface, you can use admin UI SDK, and API mesh, basically combining multiple GraphQL and REST API. So today we are going to cover these first three topics like app builder, events, and webhook. Later session, we'll try to cover these other two topics basically. So the coming back to the why we need like app builder, events, and webhook. So we have to focus on these five core principles. So first thing, like we are moving heavy process outside the Adobe Commerce, and we are basically freeing up the infrastructure of Adobe Commerce for other work. Okay, so that we can offload. So once we have offloaded some complex process outside the Adobe Commerce, and the infrastructure we can reutilize for the front end request. Correct. Similarly, like, so with the help of app builder, we are breaking the monolithic behavior. So with the help of app builder, we are building basically Node.js apps which are deployed outside the Adobe Commerce, and which does a specific job which was previously done by the uh, the Adobe Commerce itself. Now it is done outside the Adobe Commerce as a microservice. You can consider. Second, the last 2 points are reusable components. So whatever we are building through the app builder, it runs in a serverless platform. So if I have a mobile app, or if I a web application, so those REST API endpoints or GraphQL and endpoints can be repurposed and reutilized. So repurposed reutilization is one of the aspect of app builder. And this last point, what is reduce the deployment time. So uh, like, if you are working with the Adobe Commerce, so like, if you make one line of change, you need a full deployment, and deployment can take from 10 minutes to 20 minutes, correct? And so with the help of app builder, if you are changing a specific action or specific feature, so deployment can be done in a partial way also. And deployment, and even though if you're doing a full build and deploy, the deployment do not take you to a 20-minute cycle. It will probably take max, like, based on your complexity or application, it is much smaller, much less basically. So like, this app builder approach ensure your applications are running, it do not have that kind of downtime when you have so much load and so much customers are visiting. So reducing the deployment time, one of the key aspects of why we need app builder. So yeah, so what is app builder basically? So I just read out, like, app builder by Adobe is a platform. So it's not a programming language, or it's not a kind of, you can say, it's a platform which is designed to create a application that enhance Adobe's enterprise solution. Okay, so it can enhance Adobe's any kind of enterprise solution. So one of them is Adobe Commerce. We can enhance Adobe Experience Manager through the app builder, or any other uh, apps which supports the app builder. So all those can be enhanced through the uh, app builder basically. And the app builder is running in a serverless computing platform. So we do not have to, like, in Adobe Commerce Cloud, we basically get access to the uh, web nodes, DB nodes, etc. Correct. So in this case, we do not, like, the customers or the developers to explicitly manage these servers basically. So these servers are managed by the Adobe IO runtime, and it has auto scaling, and you do not, and again, the developer do not require to explicitly configure anything to make it auto scaling, or manage something like I have to upgrade something. So yeah, with a minimal set of configuration, we can manage this serverless platform. Okay, so next, what we can build with the app builder. So we can build single page apps, so which is basically React based single page apps that we can build. We can build microservice components. We can build REST API GraphQL endpoints. Okay. If you have static contents, those are coming through the content delivery network. App builder have file storage and data storage. Database, like, specifically NoSQL database is coming in the next year. It is in the roadmap, but right now it has file-based and file-based data storage basically. Okay, and it has CI/CD pipeline, basically basics set of CI/CD pipeline. You can integrate with your GitHub flow or Bitbucket pipeline, and integrate the app builder. You can control the app builder deployment and build process. So yeah, so when you are developing like, through the app builder, you are starting development, these are the some common terms you will come across so frequently. So first thing, from where you can create the projects and manage the app builder projects. So then it comes like OpenWhisk. So OpenWhisk is a open source platform, which is basically powering the Adobe IO runtime. So the backbone of Adobe IO runtime is basically OpenWhisk. So then we have the Adobe IO and Adobe IO runtime, which is basically the serverless platform which runs the app builder. So this is what is running. So once you deploy a app builder app, it is basically run by the Adobe IO runtime. Okay, so next we have some set of APIs, so which allows app builder to connect other Adobe products like Adobe Commerce, Adobe Analytics, Adobe Target, Adobe Campaign. So you do not have to write the code from the scratch. So they have provided a set of APIs or SDKs. Through that you can connect to this Adobe's other products, so that you can quickly start the development. Okay, so moving ahead, I'm just quickly touch base what you need to set up, kickstart your development. So first thing you need the access to the Adobe Developer Console. So if you are associated with a Adobe Commerce Cloud project or a Adobe Enterprise project, like as part of your license, there is like the app builder is by default provisioned. So if you like if you access developer at developer adobe.com/console, if you don't like if you have any access issues or if you're not able to access this, then you have to connect to your account manager and Adobe's account manager and get it enabled. Basically you have to get like the app builder enabled for your account. But for any enterprise license like Adobe Commerce Enterprise license, you are by default enrolled with the app builder. Okay, but if you are a independent contributor or if you are working with community, you want to start with the app builder. So right now there is still that is not feasible. So you need to be associated with one enterprise project basically, then you can start with the Adobe developer app builder kickstart you can do. So you first log into the Adobe Developer Console, and there you have to create a project basically, and you have to select template, and from the template list you have to select app builder. Okay, so basically that's the like minimal step to create a project in the Adobe Developer Console. So once you have done that in your local PC, local system, first thing you need to install the Node.js version 18 to 20. After that, you have to install the Adobe AIO CLI node package. And once this is done, so next thing is the AIO login. So in this basically will trigger a login interface in which you have to provide the same username and password that has been associated to your account. And once this is done, basically a token would be assigned and it would be stored uh, in your console, in your local PC. And you can run this kind of command after that, like AIO console project select, org select, workspace select. And once these are all done, basically you can initiate a project which will basically bootstrap your application using AIO app init command. Okay, so this is overall how you can kickstart with the app builder. Okay, so I'm just quickly go through the app builder project structure. So if you can see that in the left hand or in the right hand side, I have a app builder project that I have created in my local. So mostly it's a Node.js app. So you will get a lot of similarities how you write a Node.js application. So it has like package.json, package.lock, which will basically defines the dependencies, what are the different node package or node modules we are going to use. Then there is a file called .env, which is basically where we define the uh, constants or integration token or like the API keys, API endpoint. So those kind of uh, like environment specific variables we define in the .env file. Okay. There is another important file called app config.yml, which is basically used to configure different parameters for your action. We can define cron jobs, we can define events. So we'll see these things in example. Okay. So the most important location where we have to write our code is inside this action folder. So if you are working with the Adobe Commerce, so we write code in the controller, correct? So where basically we write our business logic, and from there we call model, resource model. So controller, you can, in app builder concept, you can kind of similar thing, you can call it as a action. So where we write our business logics basically, and this is the location where the node.js file should be there, and our business logic, and based on our project requirement, whatever logic we are going to integrate, those things we are going to write inside the actions folder. Okay, so I'm just quickly going give these details. So like in app builder, there are several packages like AIO leave core logger, which is used for the login. Then AIO leave files and leave state, which is basically used for storing files and retrieving files, AIO leave files. So if you want to maintain some state, so you can use AIO leave state exchange state module. Okay, if you want to develop some front end, nice front end, React based front end, you can use the React Spectrum framework. So which is basically a React framework, and it's like Adobe, it follows the Adobe's design system, and you can build a beautiful front end, basically single page app using the React Spectrum, and make it deployed in the app builder. Okay, so next you have a bunch of commands you require to you should know during the development. So like if I want to run my app locally, I can use AIO app dev. If I want to deploy the app in the Adobe IO runtime, and if I want to do that, so then I can use the AIO app run. Okay, then if I want to build my app in locally, okay, I have the command called AIO app build command. And for deployment to the Adobe IO runtime, I have the command called AIO app deploy. So Manav, if you can post this links to the chat, that would be great. I have just
Sure, we
mentioned.
have posted it.
Okay, great. So moving to the next set of commands. So here, these are utility to commands, which are basically if you want to check the logs, if you want to list all the actions you have created, or you want to create new action, or you want to invoke a action through the command line. So these are the set of commands which are like util commands. During your debugging or your log, you can use these kind of commands basically. Yeah, Manav, you can post these links also. Yeah. Okay. So now like during your development, you are going to change your code multiple time, correct? That's the common practice. So we change the code and we see the output, what is the impact. So if I every time I have to deploy the code in the Adobe IO runtime and see the impact, probably you will like your development cycle would be very long, correct? So in locally, in like through your local operating system, you actually can run app builder app and see the output. So for that, you have to use the command called AIO app dev. So this will build the app builder project using your local operating system, and you do not have to like stop the application and restart the application multiple time. You change something in the action and you refresh the browser page, it would be automatically reflected. So your updated code would be automatically executed using the hot reload feature. Okay, so during development cycle, this AIO app dev is extremely useful. uh, but finally, like once you have done all kind of testing, you have to definitely deploy the app and run it through the AIO app run, like through the app builder runtime. So in that case, the final, like once you are kind of satisfied that my code is running locally correctly and it is kind of a testable code, so then you run AIO app, then you execute basically AIO app run, which basically executes your code through the Adobe IO runtime. not through your local operating system. And if you make some changes in your code, and if you want to see the impact, you have to basically kill the current running process, and you have to deploy the new changes to the app builder, and you have to run AIO app run basically. Okay, so yeah, before going to our use case, just to quick recap. So app builder basic framework is like basic programming language, or you can say it is Node.js, and app builder runs on a serverless platform which is called Adobe IO Runtime, which is basically powered by Apache OpenWhisk. Okay, so if you are a enterprise customer, and if you like Adobe's enterprise customer, you should have one app builder pack associated with your license. Okay, so you have to like the admin, basically the project org admin has to log into the developer console, and he has to add other developers to who can access the developer console. So suppose the org admin is XYZ person, and he wants to give access to PQR person. So the org admin has to log into the developer console. He has to explicitly mention what is the person name and his email address, and then only the person received an email that you are added to the developer console, and now you can access the developer console. So by default, suppose you might think my account is there in the Adobe Commerce Cloud UI, I am not able to access the developer console. So it will not going to happen automatically. So your org admin has to add you in the developer console. Then only you can have a access to the developer console. Yeah. So uh, that
Hello, Shuman.
yeah.
We do have, sorry to interrupt you, we do have four questions if you want to address it now on live, or you want to address it at the end of the presentation.
Yeah, I think we can take it at the end, because this use cases,
Works.
yeah,
Okay.
use cases also in to show. Okay, so
Okay.
you note it down, you bring it up once the QA session will start. Okay,
Okay.
sure. So I'll quickly go through some like three use cases we have for our presentation. So first use case, from Adobe Commerce, we want to synchronize order to a external ERP, and I'm going to utilize the Adobe Commerce event for this, and the app builder. So this is in this diagram, this is the additional approach right now how we synchronize the order to the ERP from the Adobe Commerce. So customer place the order to the Adobe Commerce, and Adobe Commerce is responsible for publishing the orders to the ERP. So then ERP send response back, okay, so order sync has been completed and it is a success or failure state. Based on the response, like Adobe Commerce itself read the response, update the order data back to the database, notify the customer. So looks very straightforward, correct? But the problem happens basically when you have large numbers are coming, lot of backend processes happening, and if this ERP start responding slowly. Now for one order, suppose ERP is sending response in 10 seconds or 5 seconds. So during this 5 or 10 seconds, a PHP process is basically blocking the memory and blocking the CPU utilization. So for a small system, it does not matter. But once you are going a large system, so if you have 100 orders parallelly getting synchronized and each taking like 200 MB of RAM, so then that is concerning, correct? Because this step one to step two, so these all processes right now is happening through the Adobe Commerce infrastructure. So how we can overcome this? So to overcome this is how we should like reformat the integration through the app builder. So like customer first place the order comes to Adobe Commerce. Now Adobe Commerce will asynchronously publish the order data to Adobe IO. Okay, So Adobe IO will publish the order data to the app builder action, which is the Node.js app. So this app builder action has the logic. So inside the app builder action, we are free to write any logic basically. So the app builder action will receive the order data, which is passed from the Adobe Commerce and Adobe IO, and then here I write my Node.js code, which will basically publish the order data to the ERP, synchronize the order based on the response from the ERP. We can take decision that if it is a failed order or as a success order. We can also notify customer from app builder itself. I do not have to fall back to Adobe Commerce and say that your synchronization has been failed or success. Okay. And once I have a success or failure response, finally, suppose I have 10 or 100 orders all together is coming, I can, all these 100 orders, I can update back to the Adobe Commerce through the asynchronous bulk API endpoint. Okay, which is a message queue driven. And basically in this approach, what is happening, like the data published from the Adobe Commerce from the Adobe IO runtime, once that is done, all the other operations like reading data, parsing data, connecting to the external ERP, so all those things, notifying customer, all those things is happening outside the Adobe Commerce. It is happening in the Adobe IO runtime through the app builder. So you can understand that we are moving a lot of complex operations outside the Adobe Commerce, and now my Adobe Commerce share is free for other operations. Previously, I was consuming Adobe Commerce infrastructure, consuming its RAM, its processor. Now it has been totally moved outside the Adobe Commerce. So that's how it gives the performance boost. Okay. So I'll further show this in a more complex example. Suppose you want to build a order resync, order retry mechanism. Suppose you have like your orders are getting synchronized in the ERP, but some of the orders are not getting sync, or uh, like ERP was down or something happened, correct? So you definitely need to build a order retry mechanism. So which will basically check, it will run through the cron job maybe every half an hour or 15 minutes and check what are the orders which are failed and sync those things back to the Adobe Commerce, correct? So so this is our traditional approach. So in Adobe Commerce, we create a cron job which will run in every 30 minutes, which will loop all the failed orders or sync failed orders, loop those orders, send each order one by one to the ERP, get the response back, update the database, notify customer. So all those things, 1 to 5, all operations are happening inside the Adobe Commerce using the Adobe Commerce infrastructure. Problem statement is same, that we are over consuming the Adobe's infrastructure, Adobe Commerce Core 3 nodes or 6 nodes, whatever is there, in our cloud or in our hosted application. So how we can redesign this solution through the app builder. So here you check in the diagram. So I have Adobe IO. So there I define a cron job. So in Adobe IO, I can define a cron job which will every 15 minutes it will call a app builder action. Now, once my app builder action is triggered, it is a Node.js action. There I have the business logic, which can basically pull all the failed orders from the Adobe Commerce using the REST endpoint and loop those order data, sync each order one by one to the ERP, and once I get a response from the ERP, update those order data back to the Adobe Commerce using the bulk async endpoint. So apart from the point 1 and apart from the point 2 and point 6, everything is done outside the Adobe Commerce infrastructure. So that's how we get the performance boost. And here base part of the app builder or Adobe IO's actions is that this infrastructure, the app builder infrastructure, can scale horizontally, and you do not have to configure something that, okay, right now there are 10 requests, parallel request is coming. In next 5 minutes, I supposed to get 1,000 requests. So you do not have to take care that infrastructure upskilling and downscaling. So app builder infrastructure will be based on the request, incoming request that is coming to the Adobe IO runtime. So based on that, it will automatically upscale and downscale the infrastructure. Okay, so yeah, so there are several ways to define cron jobs. So we can define regex, we can define like I want to execute a cron job every day, same time. Uh, I can define a cron job that execute only once, and then it never executes. I can also define like start date, end date. So those all kind of operations we can basically perform with the app builder cron jobs. Okay, so this is one example I specifically done. Like if you check this code, I'm just looping 5 orders, and for each order I'm put a sleep command, and which will basically pause the PHP execution for 3 minutes, and then I just ping google.com and update the order state and status to processing. So I just observe the memory and see like to process each order, basically PHP consumption is around 160 MB. And this looks fairly simple, it works, correct? But once you have a like multiple processes contributing or executing in a same memory and same process, then basically it creates a lot of load on the server. And because of your backend process consuming lot of memory, lot of CPU, your front end request, the GraphQL request, or if you are Luma based theme, if your front end started to slow, and that's why you some case see PLP is slow, add to cart is slow, because the already your server is overloaded because of some other process, correct? So that's why the app builder is so beneficial to upload the uh, complex process outside the app builder. So in my last use case, what I'm going to discuss is like app builder with the webhooks. So till now, what we have seen, these are all asynchronous operations. Means uh, user do not require immediate output. So like a customer has placed the order, thing can be done the behind the scene. So in that case, we should use the events, correct? But suppose I'm adding a product to cart, and before the product is added to cart, I need to do a validation from external source that the product is in stock or out of stock. Okay, so and based on that, I can say product is in stock or product is out of stock to the UI. Similarly, like in the checkout page, I want to showcase the tax based on my items has been added in my cart from a external system, suppose Avalara or some other third party. I want to calculate the tax. So right now, what we do, we write plugin or we write observer or some through some PHP extension. We build the logic. So the problem statement in this case also same, like these all custom logics executes inside the Adobe Commerce. And in a super complex system, you probably has seen we go up to 200 extension, 250 extensions, and we start with simple and we keep on adding custom logics, and end of the like when we are going live, I have 10 or 15 validations when the product has been added, correct? So these all, and when you started the project, you have 200 millisecond add to cart happening, and when you are deploying your project before going live, it taking 3 seconds. So so that's why this is the approach, like how you can offload the things from the Adobe Commerce to the outside. So with the webhook, what we do basically, like we have events. So in Adobe Commerce, we know all the events, correct? Like order placed, cart update before, cart update after, product added to cart before, after. So those are all events. So all with this event, I basically now attach a webhook. So the webhook basically can call a external system, okay, and in the external system I can write the logic. So the external system can be a API endpoint, or a GraphQL endpoint, or basically a app builder action. So previously we are discussing. So rather writing the logic inside our plugin or observer, now in this approach we are doing with the app builder action and moving the logic outside the Adobe Commerce. So at the end we get the benefit, like the logics are not consuming memory or consuming process of the app builder of the Adobe Commerce. It's basically executing outside the Adobe Commerce. Okay, so yeah, I think this is, we all discuss like what is the best way to use the webhooks. So yeah, Manav, I'll go quickly show the demo, then we'll see the we'll answer the questions, basically open questions.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, so I have 3 demos. So first demo is order sync with the ERP. So I quickly come back to my browser and let me see I still logged in or not. Yeah, let quickly log in. Okay, so let me add a product to cart. I think this product will work. Okay, so I added a product to cart and just quickly do a checkout. Okay, so this order 47 has been placed. I quickly show the admin panel. So if you see here, order 47 has been placed, and here you see that ERP order ID and ERP sync status has been updated. So this is basically is done through the events and the app builder. So if I come back to our diagram, what is happening once I placing the order, okay, to the Adobe Commerce. So Adobe Commerce is publishing the order data to the Adobe IO in a asynchronous manner. Okay, so yeah, so based on your load of your system, it will publish to the Adobe IO. So in my case, I don't have much load. I'm just the only user who is accessing the Adobe Commerce. So maybe it is published immediately, correct? So you can check this in this table called event data. Okay, so in this event data, so what Adobe Commerce does, as soon as I place the order, it publish the data in the event table, event in the event data table, and make the status as 0. Okay, and then there are two consumer, there are one consumer that is running, which is basically commerce eventing event publish. So through this consumer, basically it is publishing the order data to the app builder. So through the consumer, basically it is publishing asynchronously the order data to the Adobe IO runtime. And from there, it goes to the app builder. And inside the app builder, I have the logic to connect to a mock ERP system, get these kind of ERP order ID and sync status. And then once that is done, I'm updating Adobe Commerce and notifying Adobe Commerce saying that order sync has been done. So if I come back to my app builder project. So I have one app builder project called order sync, and that in that order sync, I have one event called order publish. So in this order publish, if I go to the debug tracing, and here if I refresh the thing, you see that my order data is received here basically. So if I just, so this is the payload that has been sent from the Adobe Commerce. I just copy the entire thing and put a JSON beautify. You see this is basically this is the 7. Okay, so this was the order I placed right now, and this order came from the Adobe Commerce, and it it basically came to app and it has been processed basically. And here you can see in the response is coming order sync completed successfully and success status equal to true. So this is coming from my uh, app builder action. So this is my app builder action, which is basically doing the job of synchronizing the order data. So if I just search this message, you see that create success message order sync completed. So this is coming from my app builder action. And what I am doing in this app builder action, it is self-explanatory basically. Like I'm doing some validation check, then the data I have received from the Adobe Commerce, I'm calling the process order data. And inside the process order data, I'm passing the order data to the ERP. Based on the ERP response, if it is success or failure, if it is success, basically I am updating the Adobe Commerce using the REST async API order bulk endpoint. And here I'm passing the the order sync status. So that's how basically the order is getting updated back to the Adobe Commerce. Okay. Yeah. So next use case is basically like through a cron job, how I can do a order sync retry. Okay. So for this, what I have done, I have another action called order sync cron. Okay. So what it does is basically it fetch all the failed orders from the Adobe. So if you see here, fetch failed orders from Adobe Commerce. So if I come here, I am calling orders REST endpoint, and I have a search criteria where I define like order sync or orders which are failed stage. Okay, I have an inquiry and I get a product collection as a response. And that response basically I'm like each and every order I'm passing to the ERP and and basically doing the synchronization and updating orders back to the Adobe Commerce. Okay, so what I can do quickly, I can just manually update some of the orders basically, which are yeah, I just update some of the orders to the fail stage basically. Okay, so if I come here and right now if I refresh, so you see I just manually make these orders as a failed stage, sync pending stage. Okay, and now this is my action which should be called via the cron job. So I can define any regex expression when this cron job would be executed. For time being, basically, I'm just showcasing you that this can be executed through a URL also. And here you can see I have 4 orders. Synchronization has been done basically. And if I come back and you just refresh this page, here you can see all these orders are now in a sync stage. Okay, so what I'm basically doing, I'm the cron job, the action that going to be executed, that one I have just manually triggered that thing. So if we can see, this is my cron job, this is my action which is responsible for synchronizing the order through the cron job. And here I can define the cron job based on my preference. So if I just commented out this one, if I uncomment this and deploy this app, basically, then every 15 minutes, this action would be executed and that would be used to process the order. Okay. And the last use case, basically, uh, the using the webhook. So let me come to this product page. Okay. So what I have done, uh, before the product has been added to the cart, I have a validation for stock check, and this stock check is done through through a webhook. Okay. So in my app builder action, I have one action called add to cart validator, and here I have one SKU which is 24WB01. So for that case, I am returning success, and all other products I am saying product out of stock. So I think this is the product. So for this case, I'm expecting the product would be added to cart successfully. Okay. So the product has been added. I go to some other product, SKU is not matching. So in this case, I should get a notification saying that product is out of stock. So how this is happening? So this is not happening through a plugin, or this is not happening through an observer. This is happening through a webhook. So what I have done here in my Adobe Commerce, I have one file called app etc webhooks.xml, and here I've added one webhook which is listening this observer, and it is passing the product data to this app builder action, and it is basically doing a stock validation. Okay. And I can also define what are the product properties I'm going to publish. So is in my case product SKU. So these product SKU I'm listening inside my app builder action and doing the validation. So this use case is pretty simple use case, but this is a like this use case you can mold it and you can utilize for your more complex use cases basically. And right now the logic that you plug in or observer that you totally can move out to the webhooks basically. Using the webhooks you can put it in the external if you have like the external connectivity things. Okay. Yeah, I already created a like small videos for this. Manav, you can post those official guideline of the Adobe Commerce and the that I have created. And for the webhooks also, the video link that I have shared, that also you can post it. So I have recorded this entire things in two YouTube video. You can check it. The official guideline, the exactly what I am saying, these all things are clearly documented in the official guideline through the webhook. So, and it has like step-by-step instruction, how we can define, how we can create, and how we can validate basically. Okay. Uh, Before we go to the QA section, I just uh, listed down some of the official links basically. Just let me put it in the chat. Yeah. And we have few YouTube channel, so you can visit those things. One of you it directly uh, in the chat.
So you're posting everything.
Yeah. So now I just um, yeah, I think yeah, we are open for the QA section. Yeah.
Suman, what we can do is you can stop presenting and check questions in the QA tab, right? And let's
Sure.
mark it as a done once it is answered here live, right? And if there is anything, we can take it in our Slack channel, okay,
Okay.
which we need more discussions.
Okay. So Yeah. So first question from Binu: how to handle the timeout issues? The app builder as a default timeout is 1 minute. Okay. So default timeout is 1 minute, but you can control the timeout to maximum 1.5 hour. Okay. So you have the configuration through the YML file, basically the app config YML. You can define the timeout to maximum 1.5 hour, so which is 90 minutes. You can define it. Okay. And uh, like if you are
Hello, Binu. Sorry to interrupt you. Can you please mute yourself? You and Tinkes, I guess there are a lot of background noise are coming from your mic. So can you guys please mute yourself?
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Continue. Suman.
Yeah. So you follow the like the developer link, and there is a option to change the timeout from default to 90 minutes, basically max 90 minutes. And if you have a actions, so the best approach would be execute through a cron job, or through this command. If I uh, recall the command, I just posting in the chat, which is
Yeah, Suman, actually, via XML time changing, it's not work because I tried it. Even
mhm,
checked with our app builder core developer team, so it won't
mhm.
work on it. So that's the answer for So that's why I asked how to increase it. So RT action, yeah, this will work, but increasing the time by XML won't work on it.
No, so
So,
we
another thing is, if we increase this time, again, we are not sorting the actual issue. You can increase to 15 minutes, 1 minute to 2 minutes or 3 minutes the action. Okay, so what will happen means if you increase to 3 minutes, other actions are blocked.
no no
Blocked means that also it's in the queue.
okay, so no actually, so if you let me share my screen. So okay, so let me share my screen. So when suppose in my case I have two actions, order sync and order synchron. So this there is no relation between this action and this action. So there is something called activation ID, which is basically the process which is running your app builder action. So if I'm executing this one, my activation ID suppose 123, and if I'm executing this one, my activation ID would be different. So this one would never going to block this one. So yeah, so these are totally independent things, and this will go to two different container. So container means, if you in commerce concept, if you have PHP nodes, correct? So here these two action might go to two different container, and for each container, basically for action, you can also configure the like allocate, you can allocate the memory, basically like for this action you can allocate 2 GB memory, and for this action you can allocate 4 GB memory. But it is not like I'm executing this one, it is long running query, it is running for 30 minutes, it will block my other queries, basically. So that will never going to happen. So that's not the how app builder works. So these all actions are independent, and it is run through different container, basically. And one long running query will never going to block other queries. Is that answer your query?
Yeah, this answered my query on that timeout increase. Thank you.
Okay.
Suman, I have one question. Initially, you are discussing about the deployment time, right? So, by using App Builder and Adobe IO, the deployment time is reduced. Like, so just I want to know, like, how it is reducing the deployment time from 15 minutes to maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So,
Yeah,
I just want to
so
know.
correct. So if you consider Adobe Commerce Cloud, like we have build deployment, setup, upgrade, and static content deployment. So a lot of steps are there. But in case of app builder, like if you do it, like if you create one app builder, like 3 app builder action, if you're doing deployment, so basically what it is doing, basically it will build the package and it will zip and it will upload to the Adobe like Adobe runtime, which would be much less or much lesser than the current Adobe Commerce deployment. So generally, like I tried 10 actions and tried to deploy, like it works like less than 1 minute. And the other part is, suppose you have worked 10 you have 10 app builder action and you have worked only 2 app builder action, other 8 app builder action did not changed basically. So you can do a partial deployment, you can deploy the 2 app builder action that you have changed, other 8 app builder action you don't want to deploy basically. So the partial deployment also you can do it. So that's how you can reduce the deployment time significantly. And the other part is, suppose during your deployment, like there would be a fraction of second your app builder action would not be responsive, correct? So if some request comes, that goes to queue, and once the new app builder version is available, so the data would be processed through the new app builder action base. There is the very minute chance that some of the request which was stuck, which but it would not going to process, it would definitely going to be processed because there is a queue on the request how the requests are getting processed.
So here,
So
my
that
another question, Sumit, like say, for example, deployment is stuck for 5 minutes. Like, how we are going to handle this deployment stuck, by using the app builder?
so deployment stuck means yeah, app builder deployment gets stuck, or
The Adobe Commerce Cloud deployment we are doing, and this is taking some time due to that's
Mhm.
what taking like app builder, and then how we are going to solve this kind of problem with the this approach with the app builder.
See, the Adobe Commerce and App Builder is two different applications. So if your App Builder is taking time, if your Adobe Commerce is taking time, so you have to check your static content deployment strategy. Like if you're using cloud, there is a specific way. Like there are some recommendation has been provided by Adobe how you can reduce the deployment time for your Adobe Commerce. But for your app builder, it's a total separate application. And if you are starting, like if some case you are doing with the starter pack, correct? Starter pack has lot of actions which are unused, and you are basically not using those thing in your application. So you have to clean up and keep the only necessary things. Suppose you have 5 app builder action, put only 5 app builder action, do not include all the other framework or related actions in your app builder. So in that case, you have a very small deployment time. Basically, it would be app builder would probably deploy within 1 minute. Yeah.
Okay, Suman, thank you so much. Got it.
Okay. Uh, Ankit has some questions. App builder persistent storage timeline. Currently, app builder has limited storage capability. Yeah, app builder current storage cap is uh, 1 TB. Okay. So if you have Adobe Commerce license, okay, and if you have a basic basic app builder basic Adobe Commerce license, you are entitled with the one app builder pack. But if you are a large customer of the Adobe Commerce, okay, and your licensing itself is a large license, you probably have more than one app builder pack. So suppose you are a large customer, you have 10 app builder pack associated with your account. That means you get 10 TB of disk space. Okay. So you have to check it, like how the approach should be, like you check with your account manager and how many app builders pack is associated with your Adobe Commerce account. Based on that, you decide. If it is one app builder pack, you have 1 TB. If you have two app builder pack, you have 2 TB of like 2 TB of uh, lib storage basically. Is that
Uh,
answer your question?
Sorry, actually, I'm talking about the key value pair and file-based storage. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
need to store some data, then I need to
Correct,
store in a key value pair base, and as well as that key value pair as well expired after some time. Like maximum it's stored 1 year of time.
correct,
So I'm talking
correct.
about the persistent storage, and I heard from Vikrant earlier, like
Uh,
there is some new DB solution kind of app builder solution release in future.
Correct, correct. So there are two things. AIO leave state, okay, which
Mhm.
is used to store the which is the like TTL is 1 year. So you
Yeah.
can maximum store for 1 year, okay.
Okay.
But the other called AIO leave file, which is a persistent storage. Okay, there you have 1 TB of storage if you have one app builder pack associated.
And what
So
about DB solution kind of release, like which we like
yeah,
somewhere like in
that is already in progress, and
okay,
it is in roadmap, and it it would it would be coming soon, basically.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
what I know next year, some early next year, probably it will come.
okay, great, great, great. Okay, thank you.
Suman, I'm sorry to jump into one more question. See,
Yeah,
in your explanation, the ERP you explained. No? So ERP has some IP whitelisting something. So App Builder is a serverless platform. So how we can do this IP whitelisting in App Builder?
correct. So for that, the solution that Adobe recommended is through create a MTLS proxy. So you create a proxy server, okay, in AWS or Azure, and like app builder will connect to that uh, middleware or the proxy server, and that proxy would call ERP basically. So
Yeah,
you like
but
uh,
again, that will be like, client has to buy AWS is separate, and it won't. I think like in official documentation, it is mentioned only AWS. So if the client is in Google, then it won't support. So that customer
no
can't
no
use
no
this app builder.
no no you are free to choose your middleware, or you are free to choose your proxy layer. Okay, there is no restriction. The only thing is there is a challenge is that, as I said, that Adobe app builder runs in a container specific. So sometimes it is one container, sometimes based on the load it is 50 containers, sometimes it is 150 container. These containers will have a series of IPs, and it is not a fixed one basically. So that's why it is impossible to share the app builder IP to and get it whitelisted through any external system. So you have to do it through the some middleware or through a proxy layer. Yeah, this is yeah. Is that answer your question? Yeah, I understand
Uh,
this require additional costing, but this
Actually,
in
yeah, I got your point because it's already there in the
mm,
official documentation. But if you see the official documentation, it is clearly mentioned only AWS.
mhm.
I just mentioned that in the our QA chat, like that link, like the NTLS that you are saying is like only for AWS. But if the client
No,
is
no,
using,
there is no
uh, uh,
restriction. You can like yeah, app builder should able to reach to your gateway or middleware or the proxy layer. That's the requirement. It can be AWS, it can be Azure, or anything. It can be anything. Yeah.
okay, so sorry, I am only asking question. I am not giving chance to others. One more question. See,
I
you
Yeah, Binu, I would say let's you can ask question
yeah,
in, I would say, selectional, and let's complete first of all
yeah.
whatever we do have in Q&A, right? So we do have selectional. I would really request you to ask all the question, and we also want to hear your questions.
Yeah, Binu, I'll probably
So
come back. Satish has asked two questions. So app builder logs should be monitored over the New Relic or any APM. Yeah, so you can configure New Relic, Splunk, and if you don't configure any external log forwarding mechanism, it would be logged in the Adobe IO runtime itself. So if you just Google search Adobe App Builder log forwarding, you will see that there has been official documentation like how you can forward the log to the New Relic. And with the Adobe like Adobe license, you have already a New Relic dashboard associated with your account. So you can utilize that, and you can forward your logs, basically App Builder logs, to the to your New Relic interface. Okay, and if you have Splunk license, through Splunk also you can forward your logs. That answers, Satish, your question. Yeah. Um, the next question Satish asked, App Builder is a serverless platform. How we can access it over internet? Yeah. So it's a serverless platform, but you also have the like if you so there is something called activation. So activation is the process which is running your action. So if you go to the developer like console and do a activation list, you can see a list of activations, and you can log into the activation, and you can check like what is exactly is happening. You can tell the logs, you can check the information what is happening inside the activation basically. So but you cannot have a SSH access or some like shell access inside the App Builder operating system. But you can log, like you can check the logs inside your activation that is basically running your process. Okay.
Now we can take the questions which are not answered live. The based on my the question from Binu itself, that himself, that based on my knowledge, as it is a serverless platform, we won't get access to see the servers and check data.
Mm,
So that's completely right, right?
correct.
So there won't be any dashboard to check the data.
Yeah, I have two questions from Ankit. Just let me read.
Ankit, yeah, we answered one.
Yeah,
Second one
first
we need
one
to address.
we have answered. Retrieving data from App Builder storage. At the moment, it seems the one way to retrieve the data, enable communication, it's through action using an authorization based token. Along with, can we also use single mesh API endpoint across all in the app? If yes, you can provide. Yeah, so like yeah, Ankit, you can speak, and the end use case that you were explaining. Can you speak?
Hello, Ankit, are you there? Let me just check. I guess Ankit is not there.
Okay. Uh,
If you
yeah.
want to get the general answer here to audience.
So if you have created one App Builder action and you want to put it in the API mesh with your other commerce endpoint, you can do that. Uh, yeah, in your mesh, you have to add uh, additional configuration or additional JSON structure for your for reading your App Builder action. Yeah, you can do that, but yeah, I was looking for
Got it.
uh, yeah, like
Let's
what
discuss that in chat
exactly the
itself.
use case basically.
Okay. Uh,
Any
the
more
another
questions? If
question
you have
from, yeah,
anything,
there is one more question from Venka
okay,
Vasatha
during the peak
Kumar. Okay,
period, App
Vasanta
Builder
Kumar.
automatically scale infrastructure traffic. Yeah, so yeah, App Builder scale the container based on the load that is coming, and uh, basically there is a page we can also share in the chat, like how you can calculate the consumption of your App Builder basically. So there is a way to calculate. Suppose you have 100 requests, each request having 2 KB of payload, and in that way you have to calculate like total number of uh, like size of your payload. and if it is like more than the allocated app builder, so app builder pack, you are going to notify, like you notified by the Adobe that you are over consuming your infrastructure. But like still a certain stage, app builder infrastructure will still scale support your additional request, even though it is beyond uh, your license or scope. But yeah, so as soon as you get a notification from Adobe, so uh, you should react, or you should upgrade your app builder pack, add additional ad builder pack in your license. Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing. But it has the auto scaling, it will automatically scale. You do not have to, or customer or a developer do not have to manually intervene and change any configuration to enable uh, the auto scaling.
Yeah, thank you so much. But Suman, it's all
Okay.
depends upon this auto scaling rule which has been defined in Adobe server,
Your
right?
runtime.
So
So yeah,
okay,
so
runtime. Okay.
even we don't have access how the rules has been defined.
Okay.
This is the publicly, it has been documented that based on the request, the container will scale, and it
Mhm.
there is no upper limit or lower limit that has been yeah, there is some, like something like the number of requests that are there. Okay, but if you see, if you has a
So it
large
depends on the
request
number
and
of requests. Sorry to cut you. It depends on the number of
uh,
requests, or it's like based on the usage of the CPU, what or kind of memory used for this app
correct.
builder.
Yeah, I'll probably post that link in the Slack chat basically.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if everything is calculated, like the input output, the number of memory you have allocated, the payload
Mhm.
size
Got it.
of
Got
your
it. Okay.
input request and response request, everything would be sum up, and the final value you have to come up with. Okay, and
Yeah.
if it is more than your allocated package, then it's basically you are definitely get notified from the Adobe that you have to you have to add additional app builder pack in your instance.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's say one question
Satish.
from Satish, and then we will address the Binu's question, what all
Okay. Yeah, sure.
he have.
API Mesh REST can provide the data to App to process the data in Adobe Commerce. API Mesh REST. Uh, yeah, like see, any REST endpoint, any GraphQL endpoint, any endpoint, basically what is accessible through the web network, web as a HTTP source, that can be accessible to the app builder. App builder do not have any restriction. If you provide the bearer token or authorization token to access the REST endpoint, app builder can access any endpoint, yeah, any endpoint which are publicly accessible. So yeah, so yeah, and even API mesh REST endpoint also a builder can access. But you have to make sure when you are making the call through the Node.js, you have to pass the authorization token, necessary headers to make the request successful. Yeah, yeah, Binu,
Okay.
you can
There is one question from Binu, I guess. How to handle the timeout issues in App Builder as per. Have we addressed that or?
yeah, we can. Kamlesh has one question: can we make SSO application using app builder? So like Kamlesh, like if you can want to
Yeah,
speak,
yeah,
you
okay.
can speak. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. So, yeah, my question is like that. I have certain applications where
Hmm.
customers will be log in our application of the Adobe Commerce. Also, they need to log in into ERP systems or the customer that different
Uh-huh.
systems like SAP or something, and then they
Hmm.
get the tokens from there, and that token should be persistence and is useful for both application for the Adobe Commerce
Uh-huh.
as well for the custom third party application as well, then only we can retrieve certain data from the third party APIs or third
Hmm.
party ERPs. So how we can create this solution in our
See,
in your
like
case?
uh, Yeah. So suppose you from the like Adobe Commerce you got a token, and that token you want to utilize it for app builder also. So probably in this way you can think like as soon as a token is has been generated in Adobe Commerce, you publish the token to app builder action, okay, asynchronously, and inside app builder you build a logic which would basically receive the token and save it in the AIO leave file or leave state. And you like in the app builder you also have to build a logic like check if there is a existing token exist in your app builder AIO leave or AIO leave state. And if it is in like the customer is already authorized and they can perform certain actions, so you can share the token across app builder or the commerce or the ERP app behind the scene basically, and in that way you can build the logic.
Mm, okay, so once the user is logged in our system, that Adobe Commerce,
Uh-huh.
it is generating one token. So the token is identified that the user is properly logged in and having access of the Adobe Commerce system. I
Correct.
want that users, what are the
Mm-hmm.
username password it has, okay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it should be logged in other application as well, okay, and get those token as well, and that token should be work with our application, the Adobe Commerce applications. So how we
See,
can combine those
hmm,
both
correct.
scenarios over there.
See, the way you can communicate between app builder and Adobe Commerce is that through like Adobe Commerce events basically can publish the token to app builder. So that is one part. Like you are building the bridge between Adobe Commerce to app builder. Now something happening in the app builder, you can also trigger or call a REST endpoint, commerce REST endpoint to Adobe Commerce, and you can commerce and you can also save it. So I'm not able to visualize the total scenarios, but the communication between app builder and Adobe Commerce is bidirectional. So you can publish data from commerce to app builder, or app builder if it want to publish something to Adobe Commerce, it can use GraphQL or REST endpoint and publish the data. Yeah.
Okay, the
So
logic,
Suman, we are running up. Sorry, complete,
yeah,
Kamlesh. Yeah,
that
complete.
how the single sign-on is working. Single sign-on means if you are a Google customer, okay,
Mm,
Google login, and you want to log in your Adobe Commerce systems, okay,
mm.
you are passing the data and you will log in it automatically.
Correct. Like,
Suppose I have
mm.
similar kind of solution I want to use using App Builder,
uh,
and
See, app builder. See, app builder is not something a public facing application for Adobe.
hmm,
So, like if you log into the cloud UI, you probably move to the Magento login. You see it is already logged in. Correct. So those are like public facing SSO Adobe has already built. But if somebody logged in Adobe Commerce, you want that I am also logged in the app builder, but app builder is a stateless, correct?
hmm,
You can develop your features based on your requirement in the app builder. So like nothing, no link between that. uh, like app builder is a multi-purpose application, but Adobe Commerce is a like is the application itself. So there is no single sign on by default would be applicable between app builder and Adobe Commerce.
okay,
Mm,
okay, no worries,
mm.
got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay,
So I guess we are good, Suman. We
okay,
have
okay,
answered all
sure.
the question. And Binu was having some questions, but he left the chat. I guess he will reach us in the Slack channel. So, yeah,
Yeah,
thank you all
we
for
we,
joining
we can connect with him in Slack.
offline.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely. Yeah. So thank you all for joining us and staying for 30 minutes more with us. So we will plan our future sessions. Tomorrow we do have a offline event, in-person event here in Dubai. So you can share about that in your network. Okay. So that's going to be a great event. And post that we are planning a event in India also. So after a few months, and let's see how it goes. So reach out to me and Suman if there is anything to discuss. I
Yeah,
guess one question came. Yeah, it's thank you, not thank you, Kamlesh.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you all
Tim,
for
just
staying.
if you have any questions, any concern, you can drop in our Slack channel, and we
yeah,
are
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Please drop.
thank you, Kamlesh
Uh,
bhai, for like guiding us and helping us throughout the journey. I am seeing that you are also joining from the first session and helping us to building this community. Thank you so much.
no worries.
thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Shuman, for presentation. Thank you.
Thank you,
Suman, you can
everyone.
stay here and we can just wind up things.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just
Do you
give me a
want to
second. Okay.
stop recording?
Yeah.